Have you ever wondered what goes on in your head when you're trying to figure out what people are doing? Like, why are they whispering? What are they thinking? Or maybe you felt like this. Don't perceive me. But the truth is, people always perceive, judge, and predict others. Social cognition is how we think about people and social situations. It's what happens in those quiet moments when you're perceiving, interpreting, judging, and predicting what others might do. Our brains are always running through these steps, often without us even realizing it. Schemas are like mental blueprints. Instead of relearning everything from scratch, our brain uses past knowledge to understand what's happening quickly. For example, when you hear the word teacher, you already expect that the person to give instructions, answer questions, and grade your work. That's a schema. Scripts are similar, but they focus on specific events. They are like playbooks that guide what comes next. At a restaurant, you expect to sit down, order food, eat, and pay. At the movies, you buy your ticket, grab snacks, find a seat, then watch previews before the film. These shortcuts save brain power to keep us from feeling lost in familiar situations. Heuristics are mental shortcuts that help us make decisions quickly, but they can also trick us. One is the representativeness heuristic. We judge people or things by how much they fit our mental picture. For example, if you see someone driving a luxury car, you might assume that they're wealthy. But in reality, they could be living paycheck to paycheck just to make those car payments. Another is the availability heuristic. We judge based on how easy examples come to mind. If you've been listening to a lot of true crime podcasts, you might start to think crime is happening everywhere. The vivid stories stuck in your mind, so crime feels more common than it really is. These shortcuts save brain power, but they also show how appearances and memorable stories can distort truth. Whenever we face decisions, we try to predict our future behavior and feelings. For example, if you're deciding between working on an assignment or going out with friends, your choice depends on how much time you think the assignment will take and how badly you predict you'll feel if you don't finish it on time. Research shows we can form quick, accurate impressions of others, called thin slice judgment, like watching a coach for 30 seconds and being precise about whether they're strict or easygoing. But when it comes to predicting our own behavior and emotions, we're not always as accurate as we think. The planning fallacy explains why we underestimate how long things take, like planning to clean the garage in the afternoon and still working on it 3 days later. Then there's the impact bias. We overestimate how strong our feelings will be. For instance, you may think failing your driving test will destroy your whole week, but you bounce back quicker than expected. And finally, the durability bias. We assume emotions will last longer than they really do. A breakup might feel like it'll leave you sad for months, but within a few weeks, you're already starting to adjust. These errors show that while we're good at making quick judgments about others, we often mispredict our own experiences. Hot cognition means our emotions, desires, and motivations sneak into our thinking. For example, if you get a bad grade, you might immediately blame the teacher instead of looking at your own mistakes. That's your motivation to protect your self-image as a good student. This can manifest as motivated skepticism, such as ignoring a rain forecast because you want to go on a picnic, or as a need for closure. For example, when you're starving and your friends can't pick a restaurant, you just say, let's just go to the closest place, without caring if it's the best. Our mood also changes how we process memories. If you're in a sad mood, you're more likely to remember sad experiences. That mood concurrent memory. These examples remind us that even when we think we're being logical, our emotions often drive our judgments. Automaticity is when our thinking and behavior run on autopilot. These processes happen unintentionally and often outside our awareness. Some automaticity comes with practice, such as driving or texting. Others are automatic, like instinctively jumping away when you think you see a snake. Automaticity also shows up in social settings. The chameleon effect happens when we unconsciously mimic the people around us, like picking up a friend's slang without realizing it. Priming works similarly. If you just read about doctors, your brain is quicker to recognize words like nurse or hospital. Automaticity helps us save brain power, but it can also cause us to act in ways we don't consciously choose. Explicit versus implicit attitudes. Explicit attitudes are our deliberate, conscious beliefs. For example, when you say, I believe recycling is important. These are easy to self-report. Implicit attitudes operate outside of awareness. Even if you consciously agree with equality, your automatic associations might reveal hidden biases. This distinction shows how our conscious statements might not entirely reflect our subconscious associations, especially under stress or when we're not fully thinking things through. Social cognition is all about how our minds build judgments, attitudes, and predictions. Even when we only have a snapshot of information, these mental tools let us navigate social life efficiently, but they can also introduce bias, misjudgment, or distortion. Recognizing how influences prepares us to think and respond more thoughtfully. It's not about eliminating shortcuts, just using them wisely. So next time you make a snap judgment, ask yourself, is this logic a shortcut or maybe emotions at work? Have you ever wondered what goes